Galnet News Digest, 31st of July 3304. We read the news so you don't have to. In this week's news, Deluded McAllister claims Jameson lineage. Galaxy left unguarded as commanders say hello to games. Silly season news bonanza continues. Deluded McAllister claims Jameson lineage. In her first in-depth interview since the League of Reparation was wiped out, Deputy Inspector Mara Klatt has given some insight into the terrorist mastermind that is Admiral Riri McAllister. The discredited Admiral apparently claims direct descent from Commander John Jameson, despite being an orphan with no known parents. And it's this delusional origin story that's led her to seek out and murder descendants of those who murdered her alleged ancestor. The For Jameson calling card at each murder was intended to strike terror into other people related to ex-IDRA bosses. Deputy Inspector Klatt described how Admiral McAllister started recruiting what Klatt describes as misguided obsessives and mercenaries several years ago, which is, curiously, long before the news about how Commander Jameson was murdered became public. Captain Neve Suetonia of the IISS has thanked those who helped federal and imperial security forces to wipe out League strongholds, and made the bold claim that every member of the terrorist League of Reparation organisation has now been arrested or eliminated. Admiral McAllister will go on trial for her terrorist activities shortly. Meanwhile, the Fuel Scoop news outlet has claimed that the arrest of Riri McAllister and the murder of many politicians is the result of an undercover campaign to discredit critics of Aegis. They claim that the League of Reparation is a fake organisation created by Aegis, and that McAllister has been framed as its leader to silence her calls for greater openness by Aegis. According to the Fuel Scoop, the purge of anti-Aegis dignitaries will not stop here, so Princess Aisling had better watch out. Galaxy left unguarded as commanders say hello to games. Admiral Aidan Tanner has issued a warning that the Thargoids might take the bubble unopposed if a current trend in gaming goes unchecked. Commanders are reported to be hanging up their flight suits and playing the next instalment of the famous survival and exploration game, No Skies Man. Far more colourful and realistic than reality, this game allows players to fly spaceships. But it also includes a walking about simulator for people who don't find flying spaceships exciting enough. It also includes an Onion Head-inspired colour palette, Dream-inspired space vegetables and Nightmare-inspired space animals, which are fun to shoot in a sort of space safari. Other novel features are the ability to wing up with as many as 3 other players, and the opportunity to grind for materials. On the face of it, No Skies Man seems like another CQC Arena or Stellar Citizen Alpha, but the difference is commanders are actually playing No Skies Man. This leaves Aegis with a serious shortage of combat pilots, and creates the risk that should the Thargoids ever see fit to step up the pace a bit, the bubble could be overrun before we even knew it. So thank goodness the Thargoids don't seem to be in a rush to conquer the galaxy. Silly season news bonanza continues. With nothing much happening in the galaxy except its invasion by bloodthirsty aliens, it's time for a crop of filler stories on the Holovid newscasts. We've already been amazed by the daring theft of a piece of sentient artwork. We've followed an author on an intergalactic book tour. We've searched for a missing lottery ticket and gasped at the discovery of an ancient relic of the Third World War on Earth. This week we have the thrilling story of the return of the TV show Andromedaries. Yes, a show that only ever existed because you can make a silly portmanteau word from Andromeda and dromedary is being dragged kicking and screaming back to our screens. The original animated children's show was correctly cancelled by the TV company because of its poor script writing, cheap animation, and lousy plot lines. Now, a group of misguided fans have clubbed together to buy the rights, and plan to release a sequel, to be titled Revenge of the Mutant Andromedaries, which will be grittily realistic, with dark psychological themes and a lot of blood, much of it spraying from severed arteries. Presented in 3D holovid, it should be the perfect bedtime watching for the kids. In unrelated trivia, bets are now being taken as to what will happen at the royal wedding in 3 weeks' time. Will Aisling's father, Mad Harold, disrupt proceedings? Will Aisling reveal she was a federal agent all along and annex Semius for the Federation? Will the League of Reparation attempt an assassination, and if so, who will be the target? Will Thargoids attack and destroy the wedding barge, removing the galaxy's only reliable source of prismatic shields? Or will there be a community goal to ferry in luxury comestibles, and they all live happily ever after? Place your bets. Le jeu sont faits. And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News, we read the news so you don't have to.